Hi traders, Gary Fichardt here and welcome to part 2 of the series. Now if you missed part 1, which is the trading strategy we use, you may want to go ahead and click on the link above. Check that out first before going ahead and continue with this video. Now in part 2, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the equity management side and how to be able to manage the risk on the trade. Because we said in part 1, this is very, very important. Using the strategy is simple, but managing the risk correctly so that you don't run out of margin is essential. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right after this. Alright traders, well welcome back, and yes, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the equity or at least the risk management side of the strategy. It's essential that we know exactly what we're getting into so we don't over leverage ourselves and run into issues. Now I would love to trade 28 currency pairs, but I can only do that if I have the right equity to be able to trade that. So which means that traders, if I'm trading with $1,000, $2,000 trading account, I may not be able to trade 28 currency pairs. I just don't have the equity to be able to trade that. Now I'm going to be trading a larger trading account. I've got 2 trading accounts that I'm going to be playing around with. One of them has got $156,000 in. The other one's got about $31,000 in. And so in this example, I'm going to go ahead and calculate exactly what I need to do with a $156,000 trading account, which means that I've got enough equity to be able to trade with more than just a few pairs. I can actually go with maybe 28 currency pairs. Now, this is how I'm going to go ahead and balance my risk so that I don't get into a situation where I over leverage myself. So let's go ahead and jump straight into it. All right. So the first thing I want to go ahead and do is I want to go ahead and take a look at the data. The data from 2019 shows that, and I'm going to be trading the daily targets. If you're not sure what that means, you may want to go ahead and check out video or at least part 1, because that goes ahead and describes exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take a look over here. This is the best performing strategy that we had, where we trade these daily targets. Now, it showed a 93% success rate. Now, if I go ahead and take a look at all the risk on this right here, if I go ahead and calculate all the risk that I have on the 28 currency pairs, you can see that I'm looking at a sum of 69%. Now, that's the drawdown. Now, if I had gone in with 28 currency pairs and traded the risk that I did on this, it's showing a great return of 93%. But the unfortunate part is I had to go ahead and risk this. And now keeping in mind, this may have not happened all at the same time. So I may not have been in a drawdown of 69% at the same time, but somewhere down the line, my drawdowns were pretty steep. Now I'm always looking at the worst case scenario, and you have to do the same. Let's just take the worst case scenario, and let's just say that we did get into a situation where we're at one given time, the maximum drawdown in each position was at the same time. That means we would have a 69% drawdown. Not a lot of fun, right? Nobody likes to be in that type of drawdown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the worst case scenario so that I don't get myself built up in a situation where I feel comfortable about positions, but I'm actually putting myself in a bad position by not realizing that if I don't look at the worst case scenario, I may end up in the worst case scenario, which is definitely not what I want to do. So if I take this right here and I say, all right, if I'm at 69%, how can I bring that down to a level where not only can I have a drawdown, but I can also have enough equity to be able to have buying power. We spoke about buying power and how important that is. And so I'm at all times, I'm going to make sure that I have enough buying power that if I want to add on to a position, I can do that without having a situation that I've got no equity to run the trade. So making sure about that. So I'm going to go to my positions right here. And I'm going to go ahead and rule out some of these pairs. You can see here I had the Euro JPY that was in a 6% drawdown. Let's see what else is down quite deep. That's actually the only one. That's really the only one right here. 6% drawdown. 5% drawdown. Okay. 4%. Actually, it's not that bad. All right. So 69% right here I'm going to go ahead and pull the numbers up. 69% would give me a drawdown. Let's go ahead and work that out. Let's see here. 69%. Let's go to the chart right here. And if I was in a 69% drawdown, let's see, I got to kill this right here. So let me just go ahead and bring this tool back again right here. And then I can go ahead and use it once it comes back up again. Right, here it is. Alright, cool. I'm going to go ahead and put that tool here on the side. Alright, so this is the deal. If I go ahead and take a look at this right here, and I say that if I was at a 69% drawdown, and I wanted to reduce that, I want to go ahead and, let's say my max drawdown, I want to be at, let's say, max 20%, then that means that I would have to go ahead and let me see if I divide 69% by 8, what am I going to get right here? Let's see here. 69 by 8 is going to be 69 divided by 8 right here. Puts me at 8 point, okay, so, alright, so that gives me a max drawdown around about 8% on total positions, and that's my worst case scenario. I can deal with 8% drawdown. Now that's dividing by 8, right? So whatever my drawdown is, I divided it by 8. Now, if I go ahead and take a look at my returns, let's pull that up right here. My returns on this investment right here, we said it was going to be about 93%. So if I'm reducing my drawdown by 8, less by 8, then I need to go ahead and take the max profit and divide that also by 8. Gives me 11.62%. All right, so that's going to be my yearly return, 11.62. Now, clearly, traders, if I want to go ahead and increase this return, I can do that by just simply go ahead and increasing my risk. So if I increase my risk, let's say I divided by 6. So if I took 69 divided by 6, that gives me 11.5%, right? 11.5% is going to be my max drawdown. And if I go to 93 divided by 6, now I'm looking at 15.5% as a yearly return. That's not a bad yearly return, considering that I'm going to do very little with this trading system, and I'm going to allow it to just do what it needs to do. Okay, so that means I have to now look and see what was my risk on each trade when I implemented this system. When I implemented the system, what risk did I place in it? Well, let's go to this right here to say, okay, I placed a 0.25% risk, all right, on each position. Now, if I divide that by 6, I'm going to come up with 0.04% is going to be my risk on each trade. So that's what I want to go ahead and do. That's the risk that I'm going to take now. I'm going to reduce it to 0.04%, and that's going to allow me to to have a minimum drawdown, give me a decent return on investment without getting myself stuck inside a position. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my trading system right now, and I'm going to go ahead and make a change here. I'm going to go ahead and change this. There's 156,000 I'm looking to invest, and I'm going to change this to 0.4%. All right, that's it, 0.4%. I'm going to go with a maximum of 15 positions in here. Everything else is going to stay the same right here. I'm going to keep all the settings the same, and I'm going to go ahead and just run an example, right? I'm just going to run a little test to see how things plan out, and it doesn't matter what currency pair I'm going to go ahead and trade. Let's see here, we've got the Euro, US dollar JPY right here. I don't care. I'm going to take last year's data, and I'm just going to go ahead and run that. Now, I will see over here as it starts running. I'm going to see the results posted here. I'm going to just drag this up right here so we can see what's going on. And there it is, it's starting to run. Okay, so there's the trades that are taking place right here. I want to see that if I do start losing some positions, what is the drawdown on those positions? Everything looks like it's pretty good so far. All right, small bit of profits being taken here, and that's fine. That's all I want to do is just take on some small profits. And then yeah, we hit a bad run right here. So this is what I'm anticipating right here. If we do hit a bad run, do I make it up again? And so it makes it up over here. Let's go ahead and see. I started with 156, and you can see right here I made about $872. My drawdown was 0.6%. So I made actually no, a little bit less than that. So I made $872. My absolute drawdown was 610. That means that if I actually take a look at these losers right here, that's the losers that we're talking about. That's what equated to 600. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I was in a drawdown of $600. It just means that I lost 600 and X amount of dollars in that bearish move right here. So that turned out to be good. Let me go ahead and run another few tests right here. I'm going to just grab any currency pair. It doesn't really matter. Any currency pair right here. Stay away from the JPYs. We wouldn't that. I've already tested the JPY. Let's go ahead and test the Euro Swiss franc right here. Now the same thing's going to apply. I've got the same sort of risk. I want to just go ahead and see if I do start losing out in position. What is the drawdown looking like? Is it something that I could still, get away with without taking huge losses? And that's the biggest thing right there, trader. We don't want to get into situations where we are risking a lot on a trade. We want to take some small profits, but at the same time make overall profits on the trade. And if we manage that risk correctly, if we can manage the risk correctly, we'll find ourselves in a very good position. All right, so let's go ahead and let's just pull in the data up. I've updated the data for these tests. So let's go ahead and wait for it to update the data, and then let's go ahead and run it again. All right, here we go. And this is also going to show me a graph right here as to how things are materialized. There's a graph right here, so we can see that we're automatically starting to make some profit on here. There you can see there's a small bit of profits that we've generated. There's some good profit there as we just get some good runs in, and so far looking good. We had some losses right here. Looks like one loss so far, and there it is. There's that loss we took right here, and there we go. That's it. All right, so we took a loss there, took a couple of wins, and a couple of more losses right here as we closed our positions here at the December. And so there's a little dip. So this one didn't turn out. We made some profit, not a whole bunch, but the drawdown, absolute drawdown, was also very low. There you can see $250 out of a $156 trading account. I'm happy with this. Okay, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this type of return. So I'm ready to go ahead and maybe do one more test right here. Let's go ahead and run the pound US dollar right here and do one more test. And then I'm going to go ahead and start implementing this in my live trading account. And keeping in mind that this is going to be a system that is going to be running. I'm going to keep track of it. There you can see some good runs right here. Yeah, we started getting some minuses. Now, remember in 2019, we had a lot of data coming out in 2019. We had flash crashes. We had what else do we have? Brexit. We had Brexit. We had the strike on the Middle East oil fields. We had there was something else that came out last year that moved the markets. Oh yeah, the trade wars, right? We had trade war. All right, so. Yeah, you can see we had a couple of losses right here. And then we picked up some great wins there. And then we had a couple of losses right here. And then some great wins right here. So on this particular pair right here, this is the pound that was affected by Brexit, right? And we can see the market gave a nice little U-turn there. We picked up some good profit on this. Look at the drawdown. The absolute drawdown was $1,000, but we picked up $1,800. So still, keeping the drawdowns with $156,000, $1,000 is not a big deal. I like the risk. I like this. This may be a starting point, and then we can go ahead and start off with something else. So I'm going to go ahead and check it out. I'm going to place the same sort of parameters here. Check out the parameters. I'm going to go ahead and use the risk of 0.04%, 15 entry points. I'm going to keep all of this the same. All right, no change there. I'm not going to use this to close out my position. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it's at least 30 pips away from my target. I'm looking for overbought conditions to be 32 and 68. So I'm going to keep the risk the same, and everything else is going to be the same right here. So this is fantastic. So let's go ahead and take a look now at the account. And I'm going to go ahead and start deploying this on these setups. So I'm going to go ahead and add the system on right here. I'm looking at my daily targets. I'm going to drop the risk down to 0.04%. There it is. All right, I'm going to go with 15 entry points. And this is going to be disabled right here. I'm going to disable that. And I'm going to enable that 30, 36, 36. That's perfect there. This I'm going to change to my broker time, which is 3 o'clock. There we go. I'm going to change that as well. And I want to get some push notifications on this. And I'm going to call that my daily targets. That's fine. All right, so I'm going to save this setting right here. I'm going to save it so I can, and I'm going to call this my daily targets. There we go. Just give it a name. And I'm going to go ahead and save that, and I'm going to run this on the system right here. There we go. All right, so oh, by the way, I'm going to change this to a 15-minute time frame as well, because it works on a 15-minute time frame. So 15-minute time frame, I'm going to go change it there, and now I'm going to go ahead and deploy this on the rest of my systems, exactly the same settings. All right. Now what I can do is I can go ahead and take exactly what I got here and create a template. So I'm going to go ahead and say save right here, save template. This is the one right here. I'm going to save it as my daily template. So I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now I'm going to go ahead and just load the template on here so I can have the same settings. There it is there. Same settings deployed on each and every chart. And let's do this. I want to kill the indicator, so that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Change this to a 15-minute time frame. And I'm going to go ahead and deploy that daily. There we go. And that one's already fired over here. All right, so we already got a daily implemented on the Aussie JPY. Let's go ahead and do this one. And I'm going to go ahead and load daily. Oh, this is going to be on the 15-minute time frame right here. All right, and I'm going to change this all to the 15-minute time frame. All right. There we go. 15-minute time frame. All right. And this one too. 15. Now I'm going to continue to do this. I'm not going to go through all of these with you right now, but I'm going to go ahead and continue with this and have this all set out. So what I've done right here, trader, just to go ahead and sum it up, what I've done right here is I've gone ahead and broken down the data that we had based on the targets from 2019. I've taken the data. I've looked at what the max drawdown, if I had all my positions in at the same time, if I had 28 currency pairs, and I'll use the max drawdown at one given time. And then what I did is I took that and I broke it down to that the drawdown is minimal, but I'm still getting a good return on my investment. Now I can get a little bit more aggressive, but the more aggressive I get will place me more at risk of having margin calls and having no margin to trade with, and also getting into a situation where I'm not going to be able to have enough equity to be able to have buying power. And that's important right here. So I'd rather go ahead and get a small return in, not put myself under too much pressure, but it'll still allow me to have a good return on my investments. And if things really turn out great, maybe the investment can be a lot higher than that. But I'm looking at the maximum, or at least the maximum risk that I'm willing to take on these positions. All right, so that's pretty much it. That's simplified it. It's not that complicated. Now, if you're looking for any information regarding the strategies that I do follow, you may want to check out in the description below. You're able to get the trading robot just like I have it set up the way it is. We've got videos, all that good stuff that you can go ahead and review on your own time, that you can go ahead and access the EA plus the videos and have the system running just like I have. And then, of course, we'll talk about how to be able to manage the risk around that in the videos as well, because that is the most important thing right there. Now, keep it in mind, if you don't have a trading account as large as 156,000 and you have a smaller trading account, you may want to be more selective on the currency pairs that you want to go ahead and trade. All right, go ahead and be selective on the currency pairs. Do some testing. Make sure that you've got the right data that you've gone ahead and tested, and then make decisions based on that data, because that data is what's going to help you to define how you'll be able to place your risk, but of course look at what type of returns you can expect on your trading system. I'm the FX Big Dog. Thank you for your time. Hope you guys learned a little bit from that. And again, if you want any information, check out the description below. It should have all the information you need to get started and get well on your way to start making some profits. This is the FX Big Dog. See you later. Bye-bye.